My name is Kenny Kozal. I'm a Bard College graduate and musician.
Okay.
One of the highlights of my time at Bard College was when Ozan asked me to be a part of his moderation project for his moderating into the film department. He wanted me to play drums and improvise to his moderation film that he had made. It was going to be me on drums and Barish on clarinet. So I woke up on the morning of the moderation project. I was excited, and I went to look for the other people involved. It was the days before cell phones, and I went knocking on dorm room doors, and I couldn't get anyone. I couldn't find anyone. So I knocked on Barish's door. No one answered. I went over and knocked on Ozan's door. No one answered, and I'm starting to get a little nervous. So I went back to Barish's door. I'm banging like crazy, and finally he comes out in a half asleep state, and he's like, "What's going on?" Like, "We've got Ozan's moderation projects." He's like, let me get ready. Give me a few minutes. I went and looked for Ozan again, and right as I get to his door, he comes barreling out in a white suit and sunglasses, ready to go. So we head back, we grab Barish, we head over to the film center at Bard. We get our drums set up, the clarinet out, and in comes Adolphus Mekas, Peter Hutton, and John Pruitt, who are the moderation board for Ozan's project. And another friend, Bora, was in the audience, and I think one other person. So we're getting ready to go. Right before Ozan starts the film, he hands out 3D glasses to all of us. So we put on our old school blue and red 3D glasses, and the film starts. It wasn't a 3D film, but I think those glasses definitely added to the overall energy and vibe. And as Ozan wanted, from the downbeat, from the first scene that came on, we just start this improvisation, reacting to what we're seeing on the film. We had never seen the film before, and that was the idea, just to spontaneously improvise as we're watching this for the first time. So it was very exciting. We're going off, we're reacting to everything we see. Every once in a while I look back and I see like Adolphus Mekas with his red and blue 3D glasses on, and that was very exciting to be a part of this home moment. We get through playing the 20-minute or so film, it ends. We all look at each other knowing that we had just shared this incredible experience together, which it truly was an incredible film, an incredible moment that we all shared, and I hope to one day get to do this again with Ozan.
We were both players in one of Ozan's movies. So most of the movies, it was experimental things were going on. Actually, maybe this is also an Ozan style film shooting. Now we are in Tokyo. But like we are getting directions from Ozan.
Try to get into Ozan's head,
Yes.
actually more. And this is from the future.
And we are in Asakusa in a Setsubun day.
And Setsubun is about celebrating the spring. Today is the first day of the spring.
Yes. And Asakusa. Ozan'la çok eski yıllardan tanışıyoruz. İkimiz de Ankara'da 76 senesinde doğduk ve ortak iş yerinde çalışan anne babalar dolayısıyla da önce yuvada, sonra da ilkokulda bir aradaydık. Hatta ilkokuldayken ilk tanıştığım kişi kendisi olmuştur. Ozan'la bütün o çocukluk sürecini paylaşmış olmak benim için bayağı keyifli bir süreç oldu. O özellikle lise döneminde kendi kendine kitap yazmaya, senaryolar yazmaya başladı. Bunun dışında dergilere çizimler yapıyordu, resimler başlamıştı. Ve bu genel hava olarak da bir gerçek üstücü çizgi sezinleniyordu. Ve tabii ki de bu, yani o dönemki arkadaşlar açısından da düşünülünce oldukça sıra dışı bir insandı. Ozan'ın filmleri de o kadar kolay anlaşılabilecek tarzda olmadı. Ama o filmlerin çekim aşaması bizim için bir oyundu. Ozan'ın dediği şeyleri yapmak, o fikirleri bir araya getiren parçalarda yer almak bizim için keyifli bir süreçti. Bunlar genelde yakın çevredeki arkadaşlar, aileden kişiler, Ozan'ın filmlerindeki insanlar ve ne olduğunu çok anlamıyorduk ama içinde bulunmaktan da keyif alıyorduk. Bir takım elbiseyle ve kocaman bir kayayla denize girdiğim anı unutmak mümkün değil. Filmler herhangi bir bütçe olmadan yine dediğim gibi arkadaşlar ve aile üyeleri tarafından yardımlaşarak çekiliyordu. Ozan'ın yukarı çıkması gerekirse, yukarıdan bir çekim alması gerekirse o zaman iki kişi Ozan'ı sırtlıyor ve o şekilde o sahne çekiliyordu. İşte hani kostümler olsun, şey olsun, arkeoloji topluluğundan bulunuyordu. Melek elbiseleri, meleğin halkası bir simit oluyordu. Bunlar bir ölçüde Ozan'ın yaratıcılığını da geliştiren şeylerdi bence. Yani o yoklukta dahi güzel şeyler çıkarılabileceğini ispatladı.
Right now we are at the house where Ozan used to live, and he used to make his early short films around this region. I remember once going to this ground in winter time, and we had this friend lying as a corpse on the ground, and I had this special suit. Remember Shining by Kubrick, like those Kubrick movies, just like that. And some other friend, some other guy, typewriting, sitting on a chair, and we had all this surreal surrounding. And some police car just came by, and these policemen, thanks to God and thanks to Ozan, they didn't really make a big deal out of it, but I was quite worried for some time. I didn't really know what to say in the first place. And another day we had to go to this dumping ground. I remember being stuck in the car. I was so disgusted and so disturbed by the smell, by the whole surrounding, that I thought to myself, this is literally a trash movie. That's what it is. But of course, it ended up another great scene in another great work by Ozan. And of course, he got much more professional in time. Now, as far as I know, he picks up his settings much more carefully, and they are supposed to be more secure in all terms, I believe. Yes, I certainly have to mention the scene where we had this bed in the middle of the field, and some people, some civilians this time, just ended up there. They were passing by, and they were so amazed and so confused to see us shooting a scene like that. I thought to myself this time, well, of course, this is something, but the real deal would be those very same policemen coming once more, and another encounter with them would end up quite seriously. This time we wouldn't be able to get away with it. This didn't happen, and I'm happy about it. People, just average people, would certainly have second thoughts about conducting an orchestra. But I myself wouldn't be so reluctant, thanks to Ozan once again, because he forced me to conduct an orchestra of car horns with a sphere on my head. And having gone through this experience, now I feel myself quite confident about it. So I believe any professional conductor would take such an experience quite seriously. Ozan, you just challenged us in many ways, and we had to challenge ourselves in many ways working in your movies, but it was such a great privilege and such a special, entertaining experience that I'm most grateful, and I love you.
I was a very young college student at the time, in my early 20s. I knew the director through my cousin. He was a friend of mine. And I remember my cousin Güçlü Yılmaz saying that Ozan Adam is back from America and he has this project. And we are all involved in it. And I don't remember what exactly, but at some point my cousin told me that the film needs some costumes. And I think I came up with the idea that in the Middle East Technical University in Ankara, where we all were studying, we had this archaeology club, and we had produced original items for like the ancient Greek chitons and stuff like that. And I think it just the idea just came together. I thought that Ozan may use this for his film. Then we went to the club and we took these chitons, the ancient Greek dresses, and then we used them in the campus actually for a scene, actually quite a memorable scene. I think one of the most memorable scenes of the movie, where some of us appear as angels, but I remember that everything was very improvised actually. That's what made the movie also special, I think, because at some point Ozan Adam said that where is the halo around the heads of these angels, you know? And then we came up with the idea to go to one of the dorms and get some simit. Simit is a Turkish bagel. It's round and there's a big hole in it. Then we bought some bagels, and I think Ozan's brother made some cardboard wings for the angels, and we held the halos, you know, the simits as halos at the top of the angels, and it was the scene with the angels. That's what I remember best, actually. In the later on in the summer, I remember Ozan dealing with it as he progressed with his holiday. I remember one time in Ozan Adam's residence in southwest Turkey, where he was actually occasionally he would go to the beach and he would just record the sound of the sea and everything for that infamous scene that the man comes out of the sea, you know, at the beach with a huge globe on his head, which is, I believe, also the poster of the movie. You know, we actually witnessed all those scenes being made and sounds being recorded and all that stuff. It was great. It was great to be part of such a famous intellectual product, a universally acclaimed film like that. It was great to work with the director, because it was, like I said, there was a lot of improvisation and creativity. Like on the spot, people came up with the ideas and they were executed. And I guess the most memorable thing for me was that everybody enjoyed being a part of the movie. You know, it was everybody loved being part of the movie. Today, some of our friends that, for example, they were not there that month in Ankara and they couldn't be in the film, they still regret, you know, they regret that they were not in the film.
Among many things, Ozan did these junk statues at Bard. I knew him because we're both Turkish, but I didn't know it was him who did this. And it was a great surprise when I found out. In my junior year, he's a couple of years younger than me. In my junior year, these junk statues started appearing on the way to the theater, I think. I'm not sure exactly where it was. On the lawn, he would pile up a bunch of stuff, basically garbage, and he would create a mise-en-scène and would change it every once in a while. And it was a delight seeing it on the way to the theater.
Well, didn't you hear the doorbell? I can still remember that line, and I can still remember those days and nights. It was a good thing to meet you. It was I think you'd just come back from New York. I was living in Skalitzer Straße, Luftschloss, and there was 3 Spanish neighbors from Barcelona, and we had a really, really, really cool time. It was just like having this huge pot and throwing in some people and basically looking what it turns out to be like, and it all turned out nice. It was friends. It was a project of friendship, of dreams, of nights turning into days, and we grew, and it was nice. And I think the best of it all is that it still seems to grow, you know, even if you don't hear of each other a lot, even if you don't see each other, because everyone went somewhere else. Basically stayed in Berlin. Some of you went back to Spain, Barcelona. You went back to Istanbul. I went back to the Bavarian Forest, my hometown. but still, we're out there in the world, and we're out there with our projects. And in a way, if any one of us lets the other one know that he or she is still there and needs him or her, chaka, and we're there again. So I really, I liked it a lot to get the email, and when you asked for me to, give some words about the film, I thought I'd do that right away. And I hope that you find a lot of people that listen to the film, watch the film, and share it, and share us. Yeah. Go out, spread it into the world, and hopefully we see each other sooner or later. Bye-bye.
I met Ozan in the mid-90s at Bard College. One of my first memories of him was he was sitting in a cage on the lawn in front of the cafeteria. I think he was protesting something. His professor walks by and said, "Ozan, we got class in a minute." And Ozan said, "I can't. I'm stuck in this cage." We ended up collaborating on several multimedia projects throughout our college careers. And it wasn't until years after we graduated that he contacted me to collaborate with him once more on doing a promo for his latest movie, For the Blinds. And he wanted me to play Robert De Niro in the Taxi Driver era. So I said, why not? And that was that. We filmed a little segment and it was great.
Holy shit. It really worked. How the hell did they do this? This is amazing. Talking to me? You talking to me? I don't see anyone else around here. What did you say? This thing's not working. Oh well, screw it, I still look good. You talking to me? I've always wanted to say that in the mirror. Yeah. Get used to this.
That's the beauty of being part of a close-knit community of artists. You always have someone you can count on for their input, and at any time, like day or night, Ozan could give me a call, and or I could give him a call, and we could just start talking about projects we're working on and possible collaborations. It's great.
I was 14 at the time, living in Paris with my mom, when Ozan called to let us know that he was coming to Paris and he would be filming for his new movie, and that both of us were going to be a part of it. So we were really excited. I remember I was really excited. I wanted to be a part of the movie. I didn't know how, and I didn't even know what the movie was going to be about. But either way, the first thing we did was to go and buy opera tickets, because he wanted to film during the opera. And so that's what we did the first night he came. And later he continued to film around the city of Paris. And I just remember feeling like I was at a movie set constantly, even though he wasn't controlling at all, and he completely let spontaneity and the abruptness of the city take over. We just had fun through filming. It was a really fun experience for me, and it was an honor to be a part of this project. And now I just have the feeling of being a part of a movie as being something so fun, whereas I know that was all Ozan in the making.
I met Ozan through his work about almost 20 years ago. I was visiting a contemporary art show in Istanbul, and I came across one of his pieces. It was a short film, and I'd never seen anything like it before. I was blown away. It was very surreal, very bizarre, so beautiful, so poetic. I was very moved by it, and I was very intrigued. So I wrote his name down and I contacted him. I wanted to see if we could collaborate on a project together, and that's how we started talking, and that's how we started exchanging. And throughout the years, I've gotten to discover his work, which I find very unique, very inspiring. Ozan in Turkish means poet, and in Turkey we say that you become your name. And I believe Ozan is a true poet, and his poetry comes out in many different forms. He's a multidisciplinary artist. He writes, he draws, he paints, he does animations, and he does these beautiful magical films that look like nothing we've seen before. And I very much appreciate his work and also his creative process. Throughout the years, I've had the chance to witness his filmmaking and a couple of times assist his filmmaking, and the way he makes his films is quite unique. He doesn't have a production budget, he doesn't have a production team, he does everything on his own. He is a one-man who does everything. He's a director, he's the writer, he's the cameraman, he's sometimes the actor, he's the voice, he's doing the casting, the props, the costumes, the location, everything. And yes, it makes the creative process much more time-consuming and difficult, but it also gives him full creative control over his work. And he's very creative in finding ways to make things happen. The way he works with people around him, his friends, his family, and getting the props, the costumes, the places in any way that it's possible, and finally making it happen, and overseeing this creative process that sometimes takes many years, but always having the creative vision to know which pieces fit together, which with what, and in the end, creating these pieces that are very, very unique.
Hello everyone. It's nice to be talking about Ozan and Ozan's films. I had the chance to work with Ozan years ago when we were very young, and I played a prostitute in this film. Tried to. I was very young and I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but Ozan was very patient with me and he directed me really well because he was very talented. And it was such a fun day. He wanted to film me in the underground walking as a prostitute. I had a wig on my head and it made me look very different, and I had high heels which I couldn't walk on. It was really fun, and he was meant to film it moving, so we had two other friends with us, so we found a pram, a used and chucked out pram somewhere in one of the streets of London, and we used the pram. So he was on the pram and one of the other friends were pushing him, and he was filming me like that, so he was falling off and we were doing again, and so we just had fun, a ball with it for the whole day in the underground. It was really fun, and people were stopping and watching us, and some people were filming us, and it was really good. And I really miss those days, and also I'm proud of him because he's a great artist. I mean, he did a lot of work in Istanbul. It's not just filmmaking, he did installations, he painted stuff, he's a painter as well. So I'm really proud of him, and I hope you enjoy the film, and I'm hoping that I will work with him again. Enjoy.
Hey there, it's me, Adrian. I'm here to recount a story of Ozan. What an impact that guy had on me and all of us at Bard College. He was quite the character, eccentric to say the least. The one story that comes to mind is seeing Ozan walking half naked through the snow, barefoot, to be in a movie that I was making in which Ozan played the quintessential artist, the outside the box thinker, the one who paved his own way, even though in the end it killed him. And I remember the last shot of him laying there to be discovered by all of the squares who finally came to realize his genius, but of course it was too late. And he was in a beautiful field that was inspired by him, and all these flowers had grown from his essence.